Let's cut to the chase. The majority of creators will never get the time, location, and yes, financial freedom that they desire because they are not earning enough revenue off the videos they love to create, which puts them in this weird position where they have to sacrifice the type of content they want to make or the value of the content to chase views to get that little ad revenue check every month. And I know that position all too well. Around 2 years ago, I finally cracked the code to making compelling content, but I didn't have a proper business or way to monetize it, and pretty quickly I realized that I was about to get fired from my job as a video editor. And I had to figure something out because I did not want to go back to my job before working front desk at a gym. So I spent thousands of hours and thousands of dollars learning how to monetize, how to actually build a business without hiring anyone, without investing any money, just me. Flash forward to now, I have a 200,000 subscriber channel, I have a 6-figure business that runs in the background, and I can finally afford a giant glowing Chinese finger trap you see right here. But this video isn't about me. It is about Josh. Josh was a video editor for a massive YouTuber, and despite making pretty good money, he wanted more time freedom. He wanted to make more without taking on new clients. He has information that he feels like he can monetize somehow. He just doesn't know what to do, but he needs to do something quick because the pressure, the bills, and his $40,000 student loan bill is quickly weighing him down. And to top it all off, not only did he have his wife to provide for, but his newborn baby. So in this video, I'm going to be revealing step by step the process we did to add around $8,000 in the first 30 days of revenue, all while not needing any viral videos or anything like that. I actually did the math over here. He made around 8,000 with only 14,000 views. That's literally 60 cents per view about. So firstly, right off the bat, we knew exactly what we were going to talk about in his content and monetize around because it's the one skill he has the biggest passion for: video editing. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be a champion video editor or an elite athlete or anything like that to monetize your skills or your interests. It just means that you need to have some knowledge that puts you a couple steps ahead of your target viewer. And you can do this whether you want to talk about things like knitting, tennis, self-development, be more confident, social skills, dating. I saw the other day a girl that was doing very well off how to have a bakery at home. Then we needed two things. We needed his audience avatar, and then we needed his ICP, which is ideal customer profile for the offer we were going to create. A lot of people, when you ask them, oh, who's your avatar? Who do you make content for? They always say, oh, like an old version of myself, or oh, anyone who will watch my content. That is the quickest way to ruin your content's impact and ensure that you will never build a true cult-like following, let alone a business on the back end. And if this is something you want to improve upon, I have a free audience avatar generator in the description. Just plug and play, fill in the blanks, and you'll have instantly 10 times the amount of clarity on who you're making content for. Therefore, you will 10 times the impact, the addictiveness of your content. So to keep it simple, we knew that his ICP needed to have obviously the funds to purchase whatever product or offer we were going to create, as well as have a desired outcome that our offer through Josh's skill will bridge the gap for them to get to. So we knew that we need to target a video editor, but the thing is, typically video editing is kind of this new make money online hustle, and a lot of people when they're very first getting into it are doing it because they aren't making any money. They have no way of generating income, so they will not be the ones that can afford the pricing that we're going to put on this, and I'll explain later how to choose pricing. So to get more specific, we needed them to be intermediate, mid-level editors. Not a beginner, but they don't have to be working for Mr. Beast, which also, to ensure that they have funds, most likely means that they are from a Western country. Because not only do people in Western countries tend to have more excess funds, but they also tend to have a bit more of a growth mindset because they're not raised in as much scarcity as people from other countries. And how his content ecosystem is going to work is the content he makes for free for YouTube is going to be a bit more broadly appealing. Just anyone with general interest in how videos are edited, how videos are made so dang good. For example, he made a video critiquing Mr. Beast's editing, and he made a video talking about Ryan Trahan's editing. But that doesn't mean you can't sometimes upload videos that are more specific for your avatar. For example, he made a video directly about how to make money as an editor. So for the most part, the content will attract people who are interested, but the people who are going to stick around, watch another video, really attach themselves to Josh are going to be the ones who are identified. Meaning that because Josh is speaking in a certain way to relate to a certain type of person, he's being authentic to himself, he's using his sense of humor, his way of explaining things, it's going to inherently filter out certain types of people and attract and magnetize the other types of people that more fit the avatar he is specifically trying to help, especially with his paid stuff. So those are the people who identify with Josh and his content. But how are we going to get these people to the point of actually purchasing something? In fact, what do we even sell them? So there's a lot of ways to monetize your personal brand. The more obvious stuff is ad revenue or getting sponsorships. This video is sponsored by Raid's Shadow Legends. You can do things like that. They don't typically pay as much as the other routes. And then you have other routes, which is more offers that you've created for your audience. This could be things that are service-based. For example, if you're a fitness coach or a business consultant or a website designer. The thing about that is, while it's good to make some quick money up front if need be, Josh did not have time for that. And quite frankly, I knew he wouldn't need to do that. I knew we had a better option. So picture this. You are an expert woods craftsman that specializes in creating chairs. You spend all this time, money, and effort making this chair, and it looks exactly like this, all nice and purple and sticky. And then finally, when you're done with the chair, you go put it online or go to a store and list it up, and you sell it for some awesome monies. But now the chair's gone, and you have to go back to investing more time, effort, and money into creating another physical asset to sell. But when you create a digital asset, you invest all the stuff into creating it just one time, and you can sell it over and over and over and over again. So there we had it. We needed to create a digital asset that would help his avatar, his ICP, bridge the gap to get to their desired outcome. But here's the thing. What exactly is their desired outcome? You could say it's editing faster. You could say it's editing better videos. You could say it's having better knowledge of special effects. You could say it's making videos that are more emotionally impactful. But the truth is, what the avatar actually desires is that they want to get paid more for their work. They want a big, cool client to come along and give them lots and lots of good old monies in exchange for their editing services. So now we knew what we want. We're actually going to use this later to create the offer, but we needed to ensure that we were giving them what they actually need. And that's something you need to keep in mind, not just with business, but with content in general. Oftentimes, your audience will have a specific desire they have, and they want that desire, but they actually need certain things in order to get to that desire. But if you package and talk about things in a way of just blah, 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 here's what you need, it's not going to get them as interested and as likely to click, let alone watch the entire video you created. For example, the practice of meditation absolutely changed my life, my mental health, my ability to focus, my ability to be more confident and disciplined. However, I understood that when I was making my self-improvement content, my audience avatar wasn't going to click on a video about meditation. They didn't want to hear it. They thought it was this weird, wooey mumbo jumbo that won't actually do anything for them. So instead, I would take their actual desire, the thing they want, for example, how to be more consistent, and within the video, one of these steps I would give is meditation. I got them in with what they wanted, and then I gave them what they needed to actually get it. So in this case, for Josh, he understood that to get them to the point where they can charge more, like Josh has learned how to over time, is that they need to get much better at creating content, not in terms of special effects, not in terms of fancy transitions, but in terms of the actual impact on the viewer, the emotional impact, the psychological impact, because that's what's going to get the views, that's going to get comments, that's going to get subscribes, and that's what actually provides value to the creator that this editor is trying to get hired by. It's no longer, oh, let me pay you for your time to do basic edits. It's, I am going to give you this value, this result, in exchange for money. And when that's the case, you can charge much more. So Josh created his masterclass, which was a combination of video modules, text-based lessons, and a little community group chat aspect, because one thing is, since Josh was so busy, he was getting a lot of opportunities to edit, but he just simply couldn't do it due to the time constraint, which means that, editors that go through his academy and enter it, they will also get access, if they're good enough, to potential opportunities off the bat without having to go hunt down clients. So we had this, we even had the name, which was Elite Editor Academy, but even then, it's not enough to get someone to actually trust you and pay you for this digital asset. We needed a way to package it. We needed a true offer, because that's something that a lot of creators mess up. They think that product creation is offer creation, but no, product creation is the thing that the ICP needs to get to the outcome. The offer is how you package it. It's the gift wrapping around the box. And you need to poise your offer in a way that gets your ICP to believe in three things. One, you, the creator, the person offering it. Two, the actual method, the mechanism, the product itself. And 3, which is actually most important, they need to believe in themselves. They need to believe that they, with your help, will achieve that desired outcome they have. And if you can't check all these boxes, for the majority of people, it won't be enough. That is why persuasion, understanding psychology deeply, is so important when it comes to creating both your free content and your paid stuff. Because as much as we like to pretend like we are so rational as human beings, the majority of decisions are made based off psychological factors, especially emotions. Therefore, if you truly want to help your audience, not even with your paid stuff that you make money for, but with your content you post, you need to learn how to effectively persuade, and also all of these psychological tactics that will build your authority, build the trust, tell the right stories, give the right perspectives to actually educate them, and motivate the viewer to actually take action on the advice you're trying to give them. That was the difference when I was making self-improvement videos that were not getting a lot of views, not getting a lot of comments, to my videos that were flooded with comments saying, "You changed my life. You are the best creator in self-improvement I've ever met. OMG, I can't believe you don't have more subs. I can't believe this doesn't have more views." And which type of content do you think is actually going to get you customers for your business? This is exactly why I created Audience Alchemy, my program and mastermind that uses psychologically bulletproof strategy to ensure that you can build a compelling personal brand, make amazing content, and actually build that one-person business on the back of it. If you want to check it out, links in the description. So now we need to assemble the ingredients to ensure that Josh's offer is good enough to actually make money. Starting with the pricing, I vividly remember I'm staring at my laptop screen. On the other side is Josh. We're in this video call, and he's explaining the program that he's made, his masterclass. I'm looking through it, and it's mind-blowingly good. Honestly, Josh is probably the best YouTube editor I've ever come across. So I asked him, well, what were you thinking about pricing this? And he said, oh, I don't know, like $200 maybe? And I really tried to hide the fact that I wanted to laugh because that was so baffling to me, but I think this is just really common with creators, especially people starting their first businesses, is you have such limiting beliefs about how valuable your offer, your product actually is and how much you should actually charge. So I asked him, Josh, if someone takes this program and does everything you say, what is the outcome they get? And he replies, well, they'll get at least one high-ticket client. It's like, okay, what does that high-ticket client pay per month if you had to guess? And he said probably around $2,000 a month, like $500 a video, 4 videos a month, something like that. I was like, okay, so you created a product that teaches the skills to help the avatar make an extra $2,000 a month, meaning that they will add $24,000 to their annual income by taking your program. And to get that, all they have to do is pay $200. And he was like, well, when you put it that way, I guess that doesn't make sense. Well, what should we do? Like 500? And real quick, I want to include the caveat. Your offer doesn't have to be an income-based thing. I know that there's so many make money online things out there, but no, it could be teaching a skill in terms of sports. It could be teaching bodybuilding. It could be teaching knitting. It could be teaching baking, like I was talking about earlier. What I'm trying to explain is that you need to understand clearly how this offer impacts their life. How important is that desired outcome to them? In some cases, it may be something simple. It may be something like, I'll teach you how to set up lighting to have lighting look good in your content. In that case, okay, maybe it's only worth a couple $100s at best, compared to if it's an offer like, hey, I'm going to completely reprogram your mind to be more disciplined so you will never binge eat again. You can fit into your high school jeans. You could be a great role model for your kids because you're going to reprogram your mind to be disciplined around food. Imagine the difference in price that you could put on that. So it's all about understanding how important the desired outcome is for your avatar, but also to be transparent, the magical thing about digital assets is you can price it in very different ways. Now, obviously, you have to ensure that the product itself is good enough to get the outcome, otherwise you're a scummy person. But one, when you're a personal brand, you can put a premium on everything you offer. And two, when you're selling a digital asset, when you're selling things like this, you are not selling a commodity. For example, you can only make a broom so expensive because everyone knows how to make brooms. There's nothing special about a broom, so you can't be walking around with $500 brooms. But with digital products, it is your hyper-specialized knowledge that you have acquired. It is so specialized, it is so handcrafted for that avatar that it's difficult for anyone besides you to decide what to price it at, honestly. So if we go back, since we understood that we're not trying to market to everyone semi-interested in editing, we want to identify the people who are serious about it, who are already doing it, and who have some money to expend on this. we decided to make it $1,500, which, don't get me wrong, we could have priced it higher if we really wanted to. The thing is, if we priced it higher, it would mean Josh has to actually get on calls to sell to people because they need that level of trust before making such a high ticket investment. Whereas this is kind of right before that threshold where he can get away with not doing calls as long as we nail the marketing, the offer, and the landing page. That's where I came in. So we needed to build a page to send his viewers to that ensures that it effectively communicates the value of the product, how it gets the avatar to their desired outcome, why they should trust Josh to be the one to teach them this, as well as all the little secret marketing ingredient tactics you sprinkle in to make it more and more compelling. So instead of just yapping about it, let me just show you what we cooked up. So I already know what you're thinking, Kenny. Oh my gosh, this is such a good landing page. Thank you, I made it myself. And this framework I'm about to walk you through is something that you can copy right now for basically any digital asset you want to sell. Starting with the eyebrow, which is the little line above the headline. This is optional, but what we did is we just wanted to ensure that we are calling out the avatar. We don't want to get hyper specific, so we just said if you're an editor or creator, because we understood that some creators would also find value in this if they want to go super hard with their editing. This is honestly an amazing course. I will link it in the description for you if you want to check it out. Starting with the first word of the headline, steal. The reason I decided to use steal is because of the negativity bias. Steal has a more negative connotation, therefore it captures attention more than positive stuff. This is why all the news is terrible all the time. And then we said the viral editing secrets, which is kind of hinting at what the product is, to create addicting content that lands six-figure clients. So we're kind of explaining the vessel, addicting content, and the desired outcome, which of course is six-figure clients. And the subheadline, which you need to have to basically just explain it further, is this psychological strategy. So now we're hinting at the unique mechanism for this is psychology. It's very much my wheelhouse. That's why it was actually really easy to make this, because everything's very similar compared to my audience alchemy thing, because I love psychology. It's the answer that results in better content, better clients, and better cash flow. Rule of thirds, not only that, repetition from better, better, better. It's satisfying to read. It massages the brain, you know? And this is very basic marketing, but basically, first, tell them what they get, which is what they want, and then mention without the things they hate. So they're gonna get better content, they're gonna improve their skill. At the end of the day, they're interested in video editing. It's not just about making money, I hope that they actually care about their craft. So they're gonna make better content, better clients, which is a little different than the actual value of money itself, because sometimes you just don't want to deal with shitty people, which means you will get higher quality people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis because they've hired you. And of course, better cash flow, another way of saying six-figure clients, another way of saying making more money as an editor without fancy gimmicks, retention editing, or extra work. I specifically use the words retention editing because I somewhat understand the editing industry, and I know there's a lot of talk about retention editing, like do these special effects, have something pop up every 5 seconds to keep these little kids' dopamine receptors fried so they keep watching the videos. When in reality, that's not actually how you create good content. So we challenge that commonly held belief. That's big. Make contrarian stances, call out your industry. Great for content, great for marketing, great for personal branding, great for everything. Or of course, extra work. They don't want to spend another 5 hours working just to get this desired outcome. They want things that they can just change and ideally do the same amount of work, or in a perfect world, less work. Then we have a VSL. Not every offer has a VSL. Sometimes it's just text on a page. I've made money with both. But honestly, if you're a content creator, they're used to watching videos of you. So what's the best way to effectively communicate the value of your offer, gain their trust, get them in an emotional state, and not only emotional, but emotional and logical, the best way to market, honestly, unless you're selling very low ticket, like fat loss, pill, things like that, whatever, stuff you're probably not going to sell, is that you need to trigger both the left brain and the right brain. You need to appeal to logos, which is logic, but you also need to appeal to pathos, which is emotion. And of course, all of it needs to be backed by your ethos, which is your authority that makes them like and trust you. I'm not going to play the whole thing with audio, but essentially the whole point was we wanted this to be well edited. Your VSL doesn't have to be well edited. It could be very simple. It should be well edited in terms of not weird effects or weird audio issues. But he's showing effects because it's a little subtle way of showing, hey, I am an editor. I am one of you. Trust me. Then we have social proof popping up. Look, I'm making money. Trust me. And throughout this 6-minute video is essentially showcasing social proof, both in terms of the revenue he's generated, the content he's created that has gotten crazy results, and explaining how it's gotten him to a desired outcome that these editors have. These editors are struggling to make any decent money, have any decent clients, and Josh is over here with a massive client paying him well, just not well enough. That's why we're helping with this offer. Right underneath, we have massive social proof. One of the biggest clients Josh has ever worked with and that's still working with, Will Tennyson, who has over 3 million subscribers. We have a massive quote right here. Best editor I've ever come across in my entire YouTube career. I highly recommend taking yours. And we have a video of him basically hyping up Josh. This is social proof, specific numbers, capture attention, responsible for 500 million views, half a bill. Trusted by, and it may be a bunch of businesses I've worked with, and it's a bunch of other people he's worked with. Basically, more and more social proof. And then the copy, which is basically explaining the opposite of the desired outcome the avatar has. The origin story, which builds trust in Josh and triggers emotions. And of course, sprinkling more social proof. We have this retention chart he did. We have a snapshot of money he made in a month. We have cool graphics that explain the concept of the difference between regular ignored editors and the elite editors, which the elite editors is a term we coined, which is the people that come out of this masterclass. More social proof with a comment explaining the offer. This is basically features and benefits. So features are the actual aspects of your product that people think is a lot more important than it actually is. People don't care about your features, they care about your benefits. They're always thinking, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? Well, my water bottle has Fiji spring water. Well, what's in it for me? Well, that means it doesn't have chemicals from the tap water, meaning you are going to be healthier. You're going to be more hydrated. You're going to feel more vibrant if you drink this water. We have more social proof in terms of reviews. Look, honestly, the best, most impactful thing when it comes to marketing your offer is proof. Now, off the bat, you may not have proof in terms of people you worked with, especially if you offer something brand new. So what you would do instead is lean more and more into outcomes that you've generated for yourself. And there's so many different ways to do that. For example, when I open this video, you notice how I mentioned my subscriber count. You notice how I mentioned my 6-figure business. It's because I wanted to show you that I'm not like a lot of these YouTube gurus that grew on YouTube talking about how to grow on YouTube and don't actually have a personal brand or a business on the other side of things. Then we have another enroll button. Then we have more social proof in terms of comments, another button, and all these buttons are designed where if at any point they're like, I'm ready, they click it and it scrolls down here to the actual price card. This is the reveal of the price. They didn't know the price at all until they got to this part of the website. And then here we actually say the features. What do you get? You get 24 video lessons, 54 written, editing community, bonuses, and bonuses. If you have bonuses, throw them in. And then because we know that this product is so dang good, we were very confident offering a money-back guarantee that no one has even used and asked for a refund to this day. If you can do a guarantee, do a guarantee. If you can't do a money back for some reason, maybe there's specific nuances of your offer where it's like once they get it, and you don't want people exploiting that system, then you need to do some other kind of guarantee. For example, if it's a coaching offer, it's like, hey, you are going to lose 20 pounds in 10 weeks, and if you don't, I will keep helping you for free until you do. That's a guarantee. And then here we have direct testimonials from students that have gone through. I just included these videos and then little quotes from it if they don't want to actually watch the videos. Most people don't have time for all that shit. And then we're taking yet another angle, and that going through this results in viral videos. And we have all these screenshots of viral videos that he's created himself. And then finally down the line, typically you do want to include a curriculum. So they're like, okay, but what exactly is this? What's inside this nice, I see the packaging is good, but what's inside the box? So when you do your curriculum, you want it to sound a lot more wow and a lot less how, because like I said, they don't really care about the specifics. They care about what it does for them. After the curriculum, yet another button that if they click, now since they went past the price card, how I do it is I want it, if they click, it'll just send them to the checkout page. Also important, having different options for payments. You could try setting up things like Afterpay and Klarna. Personally, this is built on Kajabi. I use Kajabi. I'll put the link to Kajabi in the description if you want to check it out. And then we have the bio, the who am I section, which honestly, if you're running traffic from your organic content, they already know your story. That's why it's lower on the list. It's not as important compared to when you're running paid ads to a product page and they have no idea who you are. So this is just an opportunity for more social proof. Then we have yet another price card. And if they keep scrolling, always have an FAQ at the bottom of any of your offers. People have specific questions, and basically what is happening, if they have a very specific question that you have not addressed and answered at any point so far, it is going to sit in their mind until you answer it and they buy, or you don't answer it, and they may just click off the page. And because we honestly priced this a little lower than we could have, and because his YouTube channel might grow, we wanted to do some scarcity. I hate when people do fake scarcity on their offers. You'll see this, they'll click and be like, only 2 slots left, or they'll have a fake little timer on their website. So fucking stupid. Be honest. In this case, it's honest. So we said price is subject to increase, enroll today, one final call to action button. And this page is so dang sexy, honestly. I'm so hyped that I made this. But of course, we have to address what content was being posted to send people to that page. So here we have Josh's page. I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, he had 40,000 subscribers. I don't have 40,000. I can't make money online. So years prior, he was a fitness creator that did protein recipes. That is very different. That's a very different audience than editing. So basically, he was starting from scratch. That number doesn't mean anything. Subscriber number is a vanity metric. It means nothing in terms of your content, your following, your impact. For the most part, 3.3K views, 1.5K views, 1.6K views, 800 views, 600 views. This Ryan Trahan video, I think, was the best one. Yeah, I got 3.7. I remember specifically because he uploaded this, and within the first 200 views, this video got a sale, and he was so hyped. He's posting content about his interests. Yes, there's a lot of psychological tactics that him and I both know using in this. Sending these people through call to actions or sending them to an email list, which I've talked about in another video. I'll link it at the end. And getting them to that page I just broke down where they make sales. And what was crazy is within the first 24 hours, he had a sale. Then over the course of the next, I think it was like 34 days, he made $8,000 from sales. And actually one client not only purchased the program, but paid for extra consulting on the back end, which means one client made well over the actual price of the program. Josh is able to do what he loves, make videos about what he loves, and make money teaching other people about what he loves. And that is literally the roadmap that I am trying to get people on. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is because you should be a digital sage. You have specific experiences, you have specific interests, you have specific knowledge, you have a skill that either you're good at or you're learning how to get better at. You have interests that you love talking about, that you love learning about, and ideally, you should create content about it, because I don't want you to be a slave to the algorithm, and I don't want you to be a slave to ad revenue or view counts or even sponsorships. You should start something like this, a one-person business. That is the very thing that has granted me the freedom I have, where I just recently moved to my dream city, Phoenix, Arizona. I can travel whenever I want. I'm no longer stressing about my Walmart groceries. I'm buying nice groceries from Whole Foods. Beyond all that, I wake up every day with an immense sense of fulfillment and freedom. So if you want to learn exactly how this business model works, click the video on the left. If you want to learn how to turn your interests you have right now into what could be a business, click the video on the right. Thank you for watching. Hope this helped. Love you. Bye-bye.